Happy Monday, everybody. Today we are going to go ahead and get some work done on our 500 subscriber project. So I went ahead and kind of put together a scene here that has a specific use case because this is going to be my new review location, and I want to be able to run my engines in several different angles and whatnot for the camera. I decided T-Track was the way to go, so I've got a couple pieces of T-Track to hold my camera, and then a piece of base foam, a couple pieces of track here, and then some verticality over here just to give some variation and some different angles to look at the review engines. And I'm not going to continue any further past this. The camera won't pick up any angle there, so the scene will kind of stop here, and that'll just be that over there. I have the DCS 51 that I'm going to use as a DCC system for this over there. We will run the wiring a little bit later. It'll be pretty simple. I'll just solder to the ends of each of these pieces of track right there and run the wiring underneath, and it should be a pretty simple install. The one thing at this point I would normally do is I have my track glued down. It's been sitting overnight. Should be relatively solid at this point, other than my upper level here. But I would normally come in with the heat gun and add some terrain variation. In this particular instance, because I want a good video, how do I put this? I don't really need all the variations in terrain here, because the angles that the video will be working with are going to be relatively limited, so you're not going to see them anyway. So today what we'll do is we're going to put down a base layer of paint on everything before we get started doing any of the scenery. And the reason I have come to do this on all of my layout stuff is when filming, any little bit of white that's on there shows up like it is on fire. You can absolutely, there's something about studio lighting that just makes it pop against everything else. So we're going to try to get a good base coat, and that will be kind of today's video. Just going to use some cheap Walmart foam brushes. They tend to work best. I'm just using the cheap acrylic craft paint that you get at Walmart as well. We water it down a little bit for a little easier coverage, and we'll just go ahead and get started here. I'm going to do the sides of the hill in gray, and then we'll come in with a little bit of brown here and there. That'll kind of act as some rock work. Get my gray mixed up here. We'll just start applying. And again, you really do want to hit all the nooks and crannies if you can. There's just something about the white that really stands out on camera. And I kind of do this technique where I just squish the brush into it. It kind of reabsorbs some of the paint that you didn't use. Helps it go a little bit further. Might be just a little bit thin on this paint too. Come over and get this just a little bit. At this point, we're just putting on a base layer, so we ain't looking for perfect by any means. Just trying to get as much covered up as we can. All right, come back over here. This was a little more. All right. We'll go ahead and let that set up a little bit and start working with our brown around the bottom here. I'm not very concerned about taking this plastic sheet off. I will put a whole layer of, actual dirt base to this, so it will pretty well cover everything up. So I'm not terribly worried about getting the floor good to go, or the ground good to go. The sides of the mountainous terrain is definitely going to be more of an issue to get good coverage on. Okay. Don't want to get too close to my glue. It's still drying a little bit. So we'll back off from it just a touch. Alrighty, not too bad. There's not much there, but you would be surprised when this all dries how that actually will help keep any of the white from coming through. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do a little bit more of the gray before we call it a day. And then next time we will start applying some of our background paint and putting down some of the dirt for the ground. There we are. Just a little bit more on this. All right. Yeah, I think that's probably good for today. We'll catch you next week, and we will start putting a little bit of the green background scenery there, and then laying down the dirt on the ground level to make a good base for all of our foliage. So I'll see you next week. Bye now.